Well, this was a complete surprise to me. Yeah, very surprising. What's happening, YouTube? I'm Transient. Welcome to my channel. So, well, there's no point in beating around the bush. I was just playing on my game this morning on one of my accounts, my free-to-play account, which is what I'm currently on, just trying to do some stuff to try and move this account forward. Completely oblivious, and then I just saw a notification basically saying something from Watcher Realms, and I looked at it. I thought it might have been like an update or something around an update, and then I saw that it's been banned in the US. Well, not that Watcher Realms has been banned, but that ByteDance have been banned because Moonton is a subsidiary of ByteDance. They are gone, at least temporarily. So yeah, that was very surprising. I mean, we should have probably known, since everyone knew that TikTok was going to be banned and stuff. So it is weird that none of us even discussed it or even thought about it. Obviously, because we're, as a game, so far down the totem pole in terms of the issues between ByteDance and the US government. The US government have banned they say TikTok, but it's not TikTok, it's ByteDance. And ByteDance own TikTok and lots of other games and apps and so on. And subsequently, therefore, any app related to ByteDance has, at least temporarily, been blocked in the USA. Which obviously is not good for all of us who play Watcher Realms, because obviously we want as many players playing. Now, Trump is coming back in tomorrow, and I do believe he's mentioned that he might give a 90-day reprieve or so on to ByteDance. I think they're trying to get ByteDance to sell TikTok, or at least some of their assets, to American companies. Now, obviously, it's beyond my pay grade to understand what it is, but I'd be very surprised why would ByteDance want to sell one of their biggest assets to an American so they can benefit from their IP. I don't know. So I think that's beyond my pay grade. But in terms of related to this game, there is that slight chance, hope that at least with the 90-day reprieve, the game can be live again, and then they can figure out what is going to happen further down the road. But I don't really know. I can understand how, because I've seen a lot of people complaining in all the comments from different videos, people saying, "Oh, I'm quitting, I'm this and that, I'm everything." I completely understand. It feels like it's just come out of nowhere. Well, it has just come out of nowhere for a lot of us. And one minute people are playing their game yesterday, looking forward to today, and then they try to log on and it's gone. No word of warning, no nothing. And that seems like it is something that doesn't make any sense, at least to us, the player base. Because you got to ask yourself the question, what did Minton know? Surely they must have known at some point. Someone wrote a comment where it goes, they had to have known at least a week in advance in order to write the code necessary to block the US, unless all that is already written in. But we don't know. We can just speculate, and most people would speculate that this doesn't make any sense, and therefore Moonton are guilty because we should have been informed. Yeah. I don't know, it is a pretty bitter pill to swallow, I feel, for a lot of people. You gotta ask yourself, does it even matter whether Minton knew or not? The whole situation is just, it must be incredibly frustrating for people whose accounts have been blocked. Obviously, I currently live in Europe, so that's why I didn't even notice. Yeah, I think what this has made me realize, although to be honest, I kind of realized it before, is with games, any game nowadays, unless you have a physical copy, hell, even if you do have a physical copy, unless that game is a one and done, a perfect game that when you buy it, that is how it will forever remain, and you buy a physical copy and it is an offline game, you do not own that game. With gacha games, it's even worse. We do not own any of these games. No matter how much money we spend, no matter what we do, these games are a service. And because they're a service, we are basically allowed by these companies. Yes, they market to us, go, oh, come and play our game, blah, 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 blah. But when it boils down to it, it's their service that they're providing to us, and they want us to use the service. That is it. And any assets or any things that we buy in these games are just cosmetics in order to make or to customize how we use their service. If you understand what I mean. So when, and rightly so, when the player base, a lot of the player base, get upset about saying, I've spent all this money, I want my money back, and so on and so forth, they're fully within their rights to feel that way. I completely understand. But when I think about it in the sense that this is just a service that I'm using, once that service, and I've paid money purely just to customize my specific use of that service. So it's almost like if let's say I hire a car service and it takes me to work every day backwards and forwards, and then they go, oh yeah, you can pay an extra, let's say $5 to make sure that the car is red, right? But it's still, if the company went out of business for whatever reason, and they didn't tell me, they just went out of business, there's nothing I can do about it. That money I've paid to have the red car is gone because the service no longer exists. But at the time the service was active, I'd paid £5 to ensure that my service was with a red car. That is not a particularly nice analogy in terms of making anyone feel good about what is happening, but it's just how I get my mind around the situation. And once again, I fully understand that because I'm in Europe, my account isn't blocked. But that's just how I think about with these games nowadays, where when we had the period when there was a lack of update, I wasn't overly upset. Granted, for many reasons, I'm an adult. I've got things outside of the game. Not that people are obsessed with game or anything like that, but it's just something that I do for a bit of an enjoyment. Once it was possible that the game would go away, I was like, okay, well, there's nothing really much I can do. But while the game was here, I had a fantastic time and I really enjoyed myself. And that's how I looked at it at the time. So when the update issue was going on, I wasn't overly concerned. Obviously, other people see it slightly differently, but that is what it is. Now, what should the American players do? I honestly couldn't really tell anyone. I mean, if you just wanted to play it, at least in the meantime, you could just use a VPN. I mean, most people have access to a VPN, I would assume, at least if you're on the internet a lot. Sorry about that. Slight distraction. My son needed something from me. Like I was saying, I think I was talking about whether Americans can use VPNs and how a lot of us should have VPNs. Obviously, not everybody does. Now, you can use free VPNs or paid ones. I just happen to have a paid one because sometimes I want to watch something on Netflix that isn't available in my country. And I mean, to be honest, the other day, what was it? I can't recall. I had to basically register in Japan so I could watch something that I've seen before on Netflix, but they keep moving these things around. It's incredibly annoying. So I pay for a subscription, not a huge amount. I've got NordVPN. I think it's about $60 a year or something like that, or maybe it's even 100. I don't know. We pay for so many services, it's very frustrating. I can understand why no one would want to. But I think I have enough income at least to cover that, and so I get it, and then I don't worry about it. Anything I want to try and watch in a different country, I just use my VPN. Now, obviously, not everyone wants to, every time they log onto the game, log onto a VPN and so on and so forth. I get it. But it's a short-term thing that they can use while they make a decision as to what they want to do going forward. And obviously, I mentioned before, Trump could reverse the whole situation with ByteDance in China. You never know. I mean, not to be political, but if you flatter Trump, he tends to lean in your favor. But then again, this might not just be a Trump issue. This might generally be the United States government might have an issue with it, i.e. Congress and the Senate. But that's above my pay grade. What's the date? Today about I'm not sure, let's say about the 18th or 19th. Maybe wait until the end of the month if you play, before you decide if you're going to quit and leave the game. ByteDance are the worst company, or Moonton the worst company in the world. Where before, like Facility said, before you burn down all the houses and so on, just give it a few days and see what happens. The bands only just come in. TikTok's a huge thing. Trump's coming in. I don't know. Something might change, but this has literally just happened. Sometimes it makes sense before one makes a major decision, just see where the dust settles before you pull the trigger. I don't know. But even if they do fix this and it all comes back, I'd be very surprised if our American cousins decided that they were going to be spending anywhere near as much money as they have been up until now. But we will see. In terms of this game, what am I going to do? To be honest, I'm not sure. I'm an English speaker, as you can tell. Therefore, my biggest market in terms of who would be interested in watching any of my videos is likely to be the USA. If the ban persists, it may become a problem in terms of this game, because I play this game because I enjoy it. But as a guy with a lot of responsibilities, I have to, or at least I've tried to tell myself, I can't use all this time playing this game to no benefit other than just having some fun. Hence one of the reasons why I created the channel. I was like, okay, if I'm going to play the game, maybe put some content out. And you never know, in a few years, it might pay for itself. And that gives me a reason to play it. If the largest market for my content can no longer access the game, it causes a bit of a problem. I have a full-time job. I have a wife and kids. I play only one game at the moment, and that's this, apart from occasionally playing Mario Kart with my son on the Switch. I don't really have that much time for any more games. Hell, my wife would even allow me any more time for games. So I can't really, it's difficult where I'm not sure whether it's a game that I would be able to fully continue if Americans didn't play the game. We'll see. Like I said earlier, let's see how the dust settles. I'm going to have to see how the dust settles. But it's something that I would probably consider is if this game did not survive for the Americans, I might be opening up my channel to other games just in the meantime until I find one game that is what I would like to commit to, because I generally don't have time to play multiple games, testing out this game, that game, this game. The time just doesn't exist. So we'll see. I don't know. But I want everyone to be positive, fingers crossed, and hopefully all these big players can sort themselves out and we'll see what happens. But I can imagine if they do sort this out and if they do come back, the compensation that Moonton will have to give to the player base will probably be pretty huge. But anyway, alright guys, hopefully we'll get some good news on this soon, but whatever you're doing, do it well. I'm Transient and I'm out.